Hi there, I'm Jeff Newton. Welcome to this video update for March 8th through March 28th of 2019. And I have one question for you. How much of the fear that you carry in your life is really yours? So I'm talking about the fear that expresses itself as you feeling stuck, as you feeling low energy, as you not sure if you can do it, your doubts, you're being hard on yourself, thinking something's wrong with you, your inner critic, your procrastination, you not speaking when you need to speak up, you not saying I love you when you really mean to, you not going for a dream or goal, whatever it is, the way that the fear is playing out in your life, how much of that is really yours? Because you're making yourself very wrong for it. And I know that it's actually not your fault. It just seems like it's your fault because there's two huge sources of fear you're not really taking into account that contribute a boatload of this self-doubt, procrastination, whatever you've got going on for yourself. And the first one I call generational fear. And to explain it, I'm going to describe an experiment to you. So they had these monkeys and they put them in a room and there was a pole in the middle of the room and some tasty, delicious bananas at the top of the pole. Monkeys want to go get them. And they start climbing this pole, and the experimenters, cruel humans we are, we sprayed them with water one at a time as they went up this pole. So they'd get soaked, they'd scream, they'd run back, fly back down the pole, whatever they do, slide back down the pole, and maybe try again later. But after enough times of trying and failing, because they wouldn't get the bananas, they would get soaked, and it would get so cold that they'd descend down the pole again. Eventually, they stopped trying altogether. Now, that is not the most interesting part of the experiment. That's just the beginning. Next thing is, as another monkey would go up to do it, they'd introduce a new monkey to the experiment. I should tell you that first. And then as he went up to grab those bananas, the others would pull him down. So now you've got people saying, don't do that, don't go for it, to protect this monkey from the cold water. But fast forward, and it gets even more interesting. Because as they're putting new monkeys in, these experimenters are taking the ones who've been there the longest out. So there's a rotation going on. And eventually in the rotation, what you get is monkeys who've never been sprayed by the cold water, all preventing each other from going up the pole, terrified to even try it, but they don't know why. So they've learned this social behavior of don't do that, but they don't have the experience for themselves that this is actually going to have any harm for them. Maybe that water gun was, taken out of function 6 months ago. No one knows because no one's trying. Everyone's stopping each other from trying, and that's the only thing that's being passed on. And we have a generational version of this that's more sneaky than this, more insipid. We don't know how it's affecting us, but things that have been passed on from our mother's side, from our father's side, from a generational line that limit our behavior, that make us think in certain ways, that make us have emotional reactions that always come out in a certain way. So when you're going for what you want, and I want you to know right now is a really interesting time, because when you're going for what you want during this Mercury retrograde, March 8th to 28th, and you feel this sabotage, you feel doubt, you feel confused, you feel you have to stop for a moment and catch your breath, let it happen, because you're actually releasing at this time in Pisces a lot of these old habits that are mysterious and they don't make sense. And if you make yourself wrong for them coming up and coming through so you can let them go, if you make yourself wrong, instead of doing what you should be doing, which is allowing these patterns to go, you'll be saying, that's me, I'm shit, I'm a terrible person, I'm a scared person, and you'll just get more stuck in a heavy identity that can't achieve your goals, find your love, express your passion. Now, family doesn't only do this to us by this mysterious genetic inheritance or emotional inheritance or behavioral inheritance, whatever you want to call it. It also happens to us with their literal actions in our lives, their disapproval. So when family members ridicule us, don't believe in our dreams or goals, are so scared of what it means for them or will mean for us, they tell us not to try it, not to fail, that we're being silly, that we're not being responsible. Whatever the story is, they are often the ones enrolled to hold us back the most, but it's just another form of that fear. And it really brings me to my second point, the second kind of fear that I'm saying we haven't accounted for when we're blaming ourselves a little bit too much at this time. And that second kind of fear is created by the fact that you are the result of the top 5 people you're spending time with. So in a sense, a lot of your life, a lot of your result, a lot of your behavior is going to be determined by the environment you put yourself in. So with Venus in Aquarius right now, who are the top 5 people you're spending time with? That becomes a really important question. So answer that for yourself right now. Who are the top 5 people that you have been spending time with? And if you write them down on a list, beside it, I want you to put down your top goals, dreams, desires, passions, things you want, maybe you haven't gone for yet, or things you're trying to do that aren't working out, where you're blaming yourself, getting stuck, feeling heavy. And just really look at those 2 lists and ask yourself, am I fighting gravity here? Because every person has a, you could call it field of gravity, a field of influence. And we influence each other as human beings, just like those monkeys did in the experiment. And when you have groups of people that have a certain standard for their life, right? Like a group of friends, a group of coworkers, your family, whatever it is, they have a force of gravity. And one of 2 things is going to happen with that force of gravity, because you've got one too. So either you're going to become such a strong influence that you carry everyone up to your level, that they're going to change who they are and join you, which is possible, but it seems to be the exception. It's not really the rule, because what the other alternative is that you get exhausted trying to change people who don't really have the same standard as you. They don't want to change, and it's not right to think you have to change them. Your standard's yours, their standard's theirs. So what you need to do in this case is, if you don't adjust your expectation of them and you stay around them, you're just going to find yourself exhausted, think there's something wrong with you, being pulled further and further from your goals, dreams, wishes, and desires, until they just you become depressed. They become some secret world that you have inside of you, and you don't have confidence, and it's all a big mind fuck, because none of it's real. It's just because you're in an environment that isn't lined up to where you want to go. If you want to go to California and you get on a jet going to India, you're not going to make it. Sorry, it has nothing to do with the jet being bad, the people on it being bad, or you being bad. It's just a bad strategy, and this is what happens to us. So we've got this, we've got the generational fear, and we've got this other kind of fear that is created by the field of what we're hanging around in. And if there's people that have a lot of fear and different standard of their life for trying to break through their fear, you're going to experience an entrainment to that fear, and also just generally get weighed down by them. So the decision of who to surround yourself with and spend your time with in your environment, it's one of the most crucial choices you can make in your life. Very important decision. And why does it happen in the first place, you might be wondering? Why is it we don't surround ourselves with the best influences already? And the answer is because we like to trade, we trade our desires, dreams, wishes, everything for love, connection, comfort, appreciation, a feeling that we matter, that we're important, that we can give and contribute. So there's all these real needs we have as human beings, but those needs are meant to be met 10 on 10, expressed 10 on 10 as you go towards your dreams and desires, not traded. Well, I'll trade a little bit of who I am and what I want, and I'll just get a 6 on 10 of emotional comfort and safety and security and all the rest. So this is the lesson of the 6, because right now, the timing we're in, February 19th to March 20th, the period of Pisces, in numerology right now, that's a universal 6 month. And the 6, its lesson is to fall in love with me, fall in love with myself, and let that be the thing that expresses in the world and gives to others, is of service to others, has a love affair with the world, rather than the negative side of the 6, is the codependency that we're all a little too engaged in. And that's the codependency of, I'll trade with you a little bit. I won't quite be me, but I'll meet more of your expectations and hope that in the bond we have, everything will be happily ever after. But you know that isn't true. So we need to move towards finding out more of who we are, expressing that, being in love with that, and letting that be what lights people up in our world, and it will be the right people. So thanks for watching this video. I hope the message really lands with you, really helps you out. And if you want to get in a better environment with people who are committed to this path, that higher standard, then check out allaboutintimacy.com/spring for our upcoming event, March 15th to 17th. It's called Living Your Life with Effortless Effort. I'd love to see you there. If you like this video, go ahead and like it. If you want to share it, go ahead and share it, because I think many people could use this boost at this time where they're likely to be hard on themselves and get down on themselves. And thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.